You don't understand. You can't do it from here. Yeah, you could. It can't be done from here. I got the rate. You can't do it from down here, I'm telling you.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is
Morning Somewhere!
for August 22nd, 2024. My name is Bernie Burns, sitting right over there. She can do it from right here. She can do it from right where she's sitting. Ashley Burns, say hi to Ash.
You can do it from anywhere. You can't do it from here. You have to do it from downtown.
That's one of my favorite moments and small moments in movies of all time, and I wonder how many people will even ever be able to figure out what that's from. I'm not going to tell you. So it's a mystery for today. But that's based on me saying yesterday that Fortnite is the Save the World mode is not available. It is available.
Sort of. Yes.
Sort
It's
of.
hidden. They have buried that thing, but you can, technically speaking, still get it.
We got that game. I was very excited about that game.
We both got Founders Packs.
Founders Packs, yeah.
We, I think, did the early pre-order before it even came out.
Also known as the Suck a Bitch Pack. I was looking it up. The Fortnite was originally announced, Ashley. What year would you guess they originally announced the original Fortnite?
That one was in development for a while. What would have been 2012, 2013 maybe?
2011 was when, and then it came out in July of 2017, 6 years later. We'll post a link to the link dump in the link dump to the original Fortnite trailer. It's like, what is this game even? But it came out in July of 2017, and then by September of 2017, they had completely pivoted, or announced at least, the Battle Royale mode, which then completely took over everything. So I went and looked, Ashley. I went to see how I could get the Save the World mode on Fortnite, and I found an article on GamerRant. If you want to buy Save the World today, here's how you get it. Here's how buried this is. You can purchase Save the World by acquiring the Scrap and Burn pack in the special items and bundles section of the Fortnite item shop, but only until October 18th, when it's going to be going away, and it'll then change to something else, I guess.
Like some other bundle.
Like some seasonal thing, yeah.
But if, let's say you're one of, say, us, right, and you actually do own this Save the World, I mean, if you can buy it, you can play it, right?
We own it, so we can play it. I found it. When you go to Fortnite, you go to the lobbies, you can start scrolling down through categories of games, and that's like vertically, and then you go horizontally across all the different thumbnails to choose the game you want. I went down through, Ashley, 54 different categories to the very bottom
54 categories?
I went back beyond such categories, such bangers as the Fall Guys stuff, horror games, hidden gems. Keep going. Something called Bed Wars. I'm not even sure what that is.
So it's more hidden than hidden gems.
We down, got to the Buy Epic section at the very bottom, and then had to scroll all the way over to the right where it was off the screen. So it's literally in the bottom right corner of the entire list of games.
Well, look, I suppose if they're doing this menu in reverse chronological order, that would make perfect sense, because it would be the absolute oldest mode that there would be in the game.
It's also, if you sort by recently played, it also is in the same order. Yeah, so it's we have kind of a weird long history with Fortnite. We actually, one of the last episodes of Immersion that we ever made for the web was a launch for Fortnite, and it was the original mechanic. Like, if you go back and watch our Immersion video episode on Fortnite, like, why this video makes no sense for what the game is, because it was to help launch the game when it was coming out. And then that actually came back around in like 2018, 2019, because when we were taking Immersion out to pitch it to networks, our executive producer, Howie Mandel, realized, Fortnite is making, what, $500 million a month at this point?
Let's see. In 2019, I'm looking at the Fortnite revenue statistics from businessofapps.com. And it says in 2019, Fortnite made $3.7 billion, which, by the way, is not even close to its peak. In 2018, made $5.4 billion.
$5.4
and then dipped down for a couple of years. And then it's going back up. These stats only go through 2022, but in 2022 it was up to 4.4 billion.
I wonder if there's a documentary out there about the guys that had this failing game on their hands, and they just, from what I understand, it was a very small group of people who got together internally in Epic and threw together the Battle Royale mode in a very short amount of time. Legends tell us, Ashley, the legends say it was over a weekend that they put it together. I mean, it was July to September, and it was like such a thrown together thing that even in their announcement video, they just say, we're making our version of PUBG.
Right. They were like, we're really big fans of PUBG. And at the time, I remember that rubbed you the wrong way in
Still
particular
does.
because you're a big fan of PUBG, and Epic was a partner on that game. Like they were a big help to PlayerUnknown and getting that game going and getting all of that stuff developed. And so for them to turn around and be like, oh, I think we can do that. And then releasing
It's a very nice game you've got there, PUBG.
and then releasing Fortnite and as it was free to play and just taking over everything felt a little bit like, I don't know, like almost an abuse of the partnership.
Well, no, what really got to me was how people are very guarded about, artistic integrity and artistic ownership. Like AI, that's the big thing with it now, that people are mad about the fact that it's going out and it's scraping the entire internet full of creators' work in order to turn it into prompts that people can make images. Fortnite, I think, falls in that category on a corporate level because what made it passable, what made everyone give it a pass, I think, was the fact that it was free. It's like people have this line, I feel like, where artistic integrity is important, but if I get something for free, I can deal with this. And they would say like it's a genre and things like that. The genre was created essentially by PlayerUnknown. Like he even worked on the earlier games that PUBG was inspired by. Like this was a train that he took through, and then Fortnite came and just said, literally, this is their announcement trailer from September of 2017. Excuse me, their blog post, but it's in their trailer as well. It's in the section, wait, what? Yeah, we made a PvP mode for Fortnite. We love Battle Royale games like PUBG and thought Fortnite would make a great foundation for our version. So, I mean, they're literally just saying it. Then they gave it away for free, and it took over the world to the tune of how much money?
54 categories later. Through 2022, it has made $21.7 billion in revenue. So you can start to see why Epic has been fighting so heavily with Apple and with Google about the app stores and revenue splits and all that stuff. And these are one of the guys that have the money, thanks to all this, the Fortnite V-Bucks and whatnot, to actually take it on.
Yeah, and it bugged me that PlayerUnknown caught grief when he pointed this out, like that he was saying, like, you're my partner, and you basically took my game and made a version of my game. It's just like, it was just not cool. Probably was legal, probably was perfectly fine. It just wasn't cool. I do like Fortnite, by the way. They put the zero build mode in where they took out all the building from the Battle Royale stuff.
Yeah, that's where you hopped on.
I love it. I love that game. It's a very, very fun game. It really is. I didn't like the way it started, and I didn't like how everyone just gave it a pass because they were getting something for free. That's all.
Well, you mentioned that people are willing to give things like AI a pass if they get things for free. So something else has happened with AI, Bernie, and it involves Megalopolis, the new Francis Ford Coppola movie that's coming out. You remember there were screenings at Cannes, and there were a lot of critics saying that it was sort of bloated and muddled. And
right. Have you seen the new trailer they put out for that, by the way? They put out a trailer that says all the negative quotes from previous Francis Ford Coppola movies and then going, haha, we were right. Our movies are great.
Well, you say
ignore the critics.
You say that, Bernie. But here's where the AI snafu comes into play, or the theoretical, we think it's an AI snafu. Those quotes aren't real.
What?
Those quotes are not real. So
there's like one from the Village Voice, and I think there's like a Roger Ebert quote in there, isn't there?
Yeah, that Roger Ebert one, I believe, is actually, that one is a real quote, but it's not about the Dracula movie that Francis Ford Coppola worked on. It's about Batman.
That, by the way, was a weird inclusion in this trailer. Like, they called out Apocalypse Now, and they called out Godfather and the negative reviews those movies got. And then they included Bram Stoker's Dracula in there as well. And I thought, is that a movie that has really gotten better with time?
Yeah, is that the hill you want to die on there, buddy?
It was an interesting inclusion.
So I guess the idea of these quotes was to show that the critics who were sort of, panning this movie at Cannes were going to be wrong, and that it's going to stand the test of time and be one of these great art pieces like The Godfather. And those quotes aren't real. So Lionsgate has actually pulled that trailer back offline. So you got a chance to see it. Congratulations. A lot of people are not going to see that particular trailer because Lionsgate's pulling that trailer.
What?
They've apologized for it. They apologized. They said, we offer our sincere apologies to the critics involved and to Francis Ford Coppola and American Zoetrope for this inexcusable error in our vetting process. We screwed up. We are sorry.
So they made basically AI generated quotes from real actual people, because I recognized a lot of the names in that trailer, which I thought was weird to call out like really well-renowned critics.
Yes, and the going theory about what's happened is that someone working on the trailer was told, like go find like the quotes panning these things, and so they went to their buddy ChatGPT or something like that, right? and said, find me a quote, from a movie review criticizing Godfather, right? And ChatGPT just made one up, and then they went, job done. And stuck it in there, and no one double checked that these texts were actually in these reviews that were being cited.
So it might not be even they went out specifically to like a ChatGPT and downloaded it and did it. Now that stuff is infecting everything. Like there's a lot of times where I have to learn. You ever learn when you search for something, you learn to avoid certain real estate on the page just mentally? Like when I first started searching with Google, I learned to just ignore this top section or the top result.
Yeah, the top 2 results, because they're always sponsored.
Or it used to be banner ads, even. And it just taught my brain to ignore that real estate. Now there's a box on my search engine that gives me the powered by this AI partner or whatever. And that information is almost always wrong if you look into it a little bit further. So it could be something as simple as that even. Like they did a search and AI was like, I'm here to help, and shows up. It's like the new version of Clippy. From Microsoft Word. It's like, I don't need your help. It's like, you want to get a date? I can use whatever voice you want.
I heard you didn't like Godfather. Yeah, this guy either. So yeah, it's a bit of a snafu, but it's an interesting thing that's happening for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Although it's weird because we're in this weird like phase with the internet where we're heading into this dead internet now, they call it, where you really can't trust anything that you see online because who knows? It could be either some kind of propaganda that's then being propagated by bots.
They're propagated propaganda?
Or it could just be one of these new, AI assistants that, wants to join in on the conversation. But then you get the real stuff and you're like, is this real or is this fake? I read an article today. Chick-fil-A is starting a streaming service.
Oh, no, that's real.
Is it?
So this is it's coming from a
what?
That is specifically coming from a report from Deadline that Chick-fil-A is working with a bunch of production companies to create shows for their own streaming platform, which I find fascinating because I just have to imagine, right? Like, okay, Chick-fil-A streaming platform. That makes me picture things that are like in their stores or something, right? But based on the most famous marketing that Chick-fil-A's ever had, which is the cows. I just picture a bunch of TV shows about like happy cows living their life and how the chickens are evil, right?
You never see the chickens.
They're going to propagate the propaganda. No, they don't because they're on your burger.
Right. The cows are like protesting stuff, but they're protesting other restaurants, not Chick-fil-A. Basically.
Yeah, I don't know if they are still doing that campaign, but when that Eat More Chicken campaign came out initially, which it was the cows basically holding up a sign that said "Eat More Chicken," and that went absolutely
huge.
It was a huge marketing campaign. My mother loved that campaign. She thought it was absolutely hilarious, and that's got to be one of the heaviest hitting marketing campaigns that I have ever seen.
I wonder if like people outside the U.S. We talked kind of about this kind of thing earlier this week. Would people outside the U.S. even know what we're talking about? But would even people in every region of the U.S. know? Because Chick-fil-A was started in the Southeast and slowly worked its way around. You had Chick-fil-A in Utah.
Made it in Utah.
Yeah, Utah, it sounds like. Oddly enough, Utah, the birthplace of...
chickens, bees, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's.
What is the original restaurant that's in Utah?
Arctic Circle?
Ashley.
What?
The original Kentucky Fried Chicken is in Utah.
Are you serious?
You didn't know that?
No.
It's in your hometown.
Look, I didn't know that.
Am I crazy to think that?
What?
Weren't you
I'm
like-
looking this up. Where's the original Kentucky Fried Chicken?
I think it's in Salt Lake City, Utah, of all places. So it's basically one gigantic lie. Here's my question, Ashley.
It's in North Corbin, Kentucky, dude.
What's look up Salt Lake City, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Okay.
Sorry, I threw you back on your heels there. Sorry, with this wrong information. I looked it up. An AI bot told me that Kentucky Fried Chicken started in Utah. There's some like,
Oh no, site of the world's first KFC, Salt Lake City, Utah. This is an Atlas Obscura.
what? See, we can't find any information.
We can't find the truth. Where's the
All right,
truth?
you look that up. I'm going to talk about something else related to Chick-fil-A. Oop, I bumped my mic. So Chick-fil-A is starting a streaming service. One of the questions I have to ask about this is, will this streaming service work on Sunday? Because that's another specific thing to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A restaurants, they have their standalone restaurants, but they really made their mark, I think, in America by being in mall food courts. But because there's some religious connection with the the family that runs the Chick-fil-A corporation, by the way, greatest chicken in the world. I don't know what they do to it. It's amazing. None of the restaurants are open on Sunday. Even in the shopping malls where everything else is open on a Sunday, the Chick-fil-A restaurant will have its lights off and the gate down.
Always closed.
Always closed.
Everywhere. Chick-fil-A is closed everywhere on Sunday, no matter what. That's just a thing.
Brings me around to another weird thing in America, which is blue laws. And there's something like...
What's a blue law?
Blue laws, also known as Sunday laws, are laws that restrict or ban some or all activities on specified days, most often Sundays in the Western world, particularly to promote the observance of a day of rest. And just here, Arizona, Arkansas, Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, and I'm going to go all the way down to Texas, even New Jersey. Texas has blue laws. Let me just read you the specific laws around alcoholic beverage sales in Texas in related to the Sabbath, essentially. Liquor, I'm even going to skip the beer and wine part. Liquor must be sold at specialized stores only. A package store or liquor store may sell other items, but the store must be closed at any time when it cannot sell liquor. Liquor may not be sold at retail stores during any of the following times. Anytime on Sunday, anytime on New Year's Day, Thanksgiving, or Christmas. When Christmas and New Year's Day fall on a Sunday, then sales are prohibited at any time on the following Monday as well. And liquor can only be sold between any times that are not 9 p.m. and 10 a.m. local time on any other day of the week. Wholesalers may deliver liquor to retail at any time except on Sunday or on Christmas Day. However, local distributors may deliver liquor to retailers only between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Okay, first of all, that's a very convoluted way to keep me away from my alcohol, and I don't appreciate it.
And that's just Texas. If you look at this, like Utah has an entire Wikipedia article. When you get to the Utah section of this, it says here, just go to the alcohol laws of Utah. Page.
It's always been a little bit weird. So and it may also have changed or relaxed a little bit since I moved away from Utah. But when I was younger, yes, you could, any beer that was sold in like a grocery store or anything like that had to be weaker. I want to say the threshold was something like 3%, right? And then anything stronger than that, you had to go to a state-owned liquor store to get.
A state-owned liquor store. And this is it okay to say a member of your family worked in
Yes.
that industry?
Yeah. So, that was, I always found that very, very interesting.
Canada, I think, is the same way, by the way.
But to circle back on strange things about Utah, we're talking about KFC. So this is the article from Atlas Obscura. It says, while Sanders, that is the founder of KFC, may indeed have been from Kentucky, his Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't really take off until a decade later in Salt Lake City, Utah. In 1952, the Colonel franchised his recipe to Pete Harmon, a local restaurateur in the city. So that's like the first franchise, I guess. And a sign painter at a Harmon Cafe had a clever idea to refer to the product as Kentucky Fried Chicken instead of Southern Fried to make it stand out. And then it was a runaway hit.
Okay, so it was Colonel Sanders had chicken restaurants, and then he franchised it, and that's where someone came up with the name Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, like the sign painter. And this Chick-fil-A thing too has me thinking about various marketing campaigns, like, because that cow one was so ubiquitous. But then I got thinking about other marketing campaigns that have been really, really huge. Do you remember a really big one for me was the Volkswagen Beetle, the Bug, when they brought it back? They had billboards everywhere. They just had a picture of the car and it said, "Hi."
Yes.
And then the one before that, I remember.
They were almost like anti-marketing their own car. You know what my favorite advertisement from the reintroduction of the Bug was?
What was it?
It was a Volkswagen magazine ad, and it had a picture of the Volkswagen Beetle, and it just said 0 to 60. Yes.
And it was like a fun, self-aware thing they had, like, take your time, you'll get there. And all these things, like, they were not marketing this car as being like zippy or fast or anything. It was, you know what it was? It was cute and it was friendly.
And it was smart too, because they were harkening back to like the late 60s when the Beetles were popular previously. I'm pretty sure they were like a World War II vehicle. Matt used to have them, Matt Hullum. His dad had a bug and he had a bug. And supposedly you could fix any problem in the car with a crescent wrench and a ball peen hammer.
I love it.
And maybe like a flathead screwdriver. Like, it was renowned for being able to be fixed. Also, he would tell me this on a regular basis. You know they float. I don't know why I'd want to know that. But do you remember that when they reintroduced the Beetle, that it had a flower vase in the dashboard?
Yes.
Yeah. So you just put one little flower.
Put a little flower in there.
That's so funny.
You know,
That would
it was
get
just
so disgusting.
So friendly.
Can you imagine how gross that would be?
And then I'm trying to think other marketing campaigns that were as ubiquitous. Maybe the Got Milk campaign. So
that
we're
would
talking
be, I
about
think, the biggest one.
some very cow-focused campaigns here. Cows have got great PR going on. The Got Milk campaign was so huge. It seems like every celebrity was in a magazine in black and white with a milk mustache.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah, and everybody wanted to be part of that. It was almost like, it's going to sound strange, it's almost like Hot Ones is today. Because like every major celebrity wants to be on Hot Ones. It doesn't matter. You know, you couldn't get Charlize Theron to go on a random ass podcast or something like that.
Come on, Charlize, right back to us.
But they all want to go on Hot Ones. Same thing with Got Milk. They wanted their Got Milk ad. You know, it was a big deal to have that.
Yeah, it was major. And I'm trying to think what else would be.
I'm gonna go with one that is really important, I think, to American culture, because I remember the time before it. In the early 80s, late 70s, there was a pitch in campaign. And weirdly enough, the Don't Mess with Texas kind of came off of that as well. There was a gigantic public campaign against litter, and it worked. Like, in America, nobody really fucks with anybody. Like, you know, now I guess when people have cameras in their pocket, everyone's recording everyone when they get out of line. But for a long time, people would let bad behavior kind of like fly and just like, that's got nothing to do with me, and walk away from it.
Pretty soon we're going to be living in a communist country.
The one exception to that is litter. Like, if you see someone else littering, people will call each other out on littering all the time. Like, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, there could be someone like stumbling around in a drug euphoria, and you're like, that's just part of American life. But if they like throw a candy wrapper on the ground, you're like, what a fucking scumbag. They turned litter around completely. I'm embarrassed to admit, we would be on road trips and like with friends, and I'd be traveling with my friends' parents, and they'd be driving, and we'd go to McDonald's, and they would just like, you'd finish your hamburger wrap, and they go, just throw it out the window. Like,
and
literally.
that was the thing. I remember you told me about there's an episode of Mad Men,
right,
the TV show, where they go out and they have a picnic, and then at the end of the picnic, they pull up the picnic blanket, they just shake it off, and they shake everything, like all the litter and the rubbish, just onto the ground. And they just leave.
And then I remember even like Don Draper is drinking a beer, and then he just chucks the beer can as far as he can. And it was like little moments in Mad Men like that were amazing, because they kind of like captured like what the culture was like back then. And they didn't really, it wasn't part of the primary story or anything. There was just little moments
It's
in
just
there.
background detail.
Yeah. Like one time there was two kids like running around chasing each other, and somebody knocked over a vase or something. An adult walks up and just like hauls off and smacks the kid in the face, like open hand slaps the kid in the face. And then another adult walks up and goes, hey, what's going on here? And he goes, your kid knocked over that vase. And he goes, oh, he goes, listen to Mr. So-and-so. Like another guy hit his kid. And he was just like, yeah, listen to him. It's just crazy.
So really, when we say we want to go back to the good old days, it's we just want to like walk up and just backhand a kid.
And in
kids.
One of the later episodes of Mad Men had one of my favorite marketing campaigns of all time, which was the I'd Like to Buy the World of Coke song. I just loved that from when I was a kid. Coke is, not a great product, but they had some really great advertisements over the years.
Is that, now these days Coke can also solve riots. That's what I've heard.
That's Pepsi, baby.
Oh, that's Pepsi?
Oh, my
that's
God.
where
You're
they're
attributing it to the wrong person.
That's where they're falling down. Big trouble
That
there.
was one of the Kardashians, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it
Solved
was.
the
I think it
race
was-
riots by drinking a Pepsi.
All right. Well, I would like to thank our personal advocates for world peace today, Andrew Norcia and Sawyer Dinger. Thank you both for sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/Morning Somewhere. We appreciate you, and we got your brand right.
All right. Well, that does it for us today, August 22nd, 2024. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you'll be here as well.
Bye, everybody.